The Oxford English Dictionary defines interrogate as asking questions of someone closely, aggressively, or formally. After researching interrogation, I believe this is something everyone should be informed on. Interrogation is all around us, and I would like to share with you today a brief history of interrogation and how it used to be, how it has changed into what it is today, and give you an idea of what an interrogation room can look like. Interrogation was a matter of dominance. Back in the day, there were few rules as to how far the police could go to obtain a statement or confession from a suspect. The American Psychological Association says, according to constitutional law, the government may not coerce confessions as provided by the Fifth Amendment privilege against self-incrimination and the due process prohibition against admitting involuntary confessions into court. This was not the case back in the day. Police would threaten suspects in different ways, promise them things in return for a confession, or just simply harm them physically until they confessed. According to Dylan Kurz, who wrote an article on psychological manipulation in the interrogation room, generally, a police officer would accuse the suspect of committing the crime, read him his rights, and begin telling him all of the bad things that would happen to him if he did not confess to the crime. This process could not continue as the fear of a political backlash could have limited their ability to conduct interrogations. These tactics, as effective as I'm sure they were, had to change in order for interrogation to still happen. But today is much different. An important aspect of interrogations came into play after the Supreme Court case Miranda v. Arizona. It was determined by a 5-4 majority that any response made by a defendant in police custody would be admissible in court only if he is informed of his right to consult with an attorney before and during interviewing, and of his right against self-incrimination before police questioning, and he must voluntarily waive these rights. Melvin I. Urofsky says in Supreme Decisions, Great Constitutional Cases and Their Impact, that at trial, an accused has the right to remain silent, and any adverse comment on a defendant's silence, either by judge or prosecutor, violates the constitutional protection. Unfortunately for the state of Arizona, Miranda was not informed of his rights, and the Court of Appeals ruled in favor of him. One noted polygraphist, John E. Reed, invented his own 9-step process for interrogating suspects. California Innocence Project states that the Reed technique trains officers to first ask non-accusatory questions in order to determine whether the subject is lying about their involvement in the crime. If the officer believes that the subject is involved in the crime, then an accusatory interrogation takes place. At this stage, the officer asks questions believing that the subject is guilty, and the goal is to have the subject admit guilt. It is used by many police departments today and is more of a mental game than anything. It has worked so well in some cases that it has been referred to as brainwashing. To have a better understanding of what an interrogation room can look like, I'll attempt to draw one. An interrogation room can be set up in a number of different ways, but typically you have your subject in a corner or somewhere feeling alone, and a desk in between him or her and either one interrogator or sometimes even two. Although police have replaced a lot of them with cameras, there can still be one-way mirrors and windows in interrogation rooms. Located either here. They've replaced cameras in the corners of the rooms too. They try to construct the room with the suspect in mind, hoping to make him feel alone or dependent upon the interrogator to help him or get him out. Interrogation, as intimidating as it may sound, can be very beneficial. In many cases have been solved because of good, healthy interrogation. So today I've discussed the history of interrogation and how it used to be, how it has changed into what it is today, and given you an idea of what an interrogation room can look like. So I think the Oxford English Dictionary was correct in defining interrogate as asking questions of someone closely, aggressively, or formally. Thank you.